King Arthur, Part 3. The Sword in Stone. Contest at Winchester. All the knights of Britain came together at Winchester. They put their tents in the field near the cathedral. It was winter and very cold, so the men lit fires to keep warm. Sir Ector was an old, brave, and honest knight. He came to Winchester with his two sons, Kay and Arthur. The three men rode their horses toward the cathedral. It was New Year's Day, and they were going to the gathering of the knights. Kay was 18 years old and ready to become a knight. But only a king can give a man this title, and there was no king in the land. Arthur was nearly 16 years old. He did not look like his brother Kay. Kay was dark-haired, but Arthur had fair hair, which was almost the color of gold. Arthur was taller and stronger than his old brother. Kay stopped his horse. Then he put his hand on the sheath and felt for his sword. But the sheath was empty. "I have forgotten my sword," he said to Arthur. "I helped father to put on his armor, but I forgot to put my own sword in my sheath." "I will ride back to our tent," said Arthur. "The knights are gathering near the cathedral. Go there, I will fetch your sword and bring it to you." "Ride quickly," said Kay. So Arthur rode his horse back across the field. Then in the middle of the field he saw the stone and the sword. The bright sunshine shone on the sword. "No one is using this sword," Arthur thought. "I will borrow it for my brother Kay." Then the young man pulled the sword from the stone and took it to his brother. Arthur takes the sword. Arthur did not know why the sword was in the stone, but Kay knew about the sword, and the other knights knew too. They all gathered around Kay and Arthur. "Who gave you this sword?" asked a knight. "What are you doing with it, Arthur? This sword doesn't belong to you," said Sir Ector. Put the sword back in the stone. The sword belongs to the true king." All the knights watched as Arthur put the sword back into the stone. "Kay," said Sir Ector, "draw the sword from the stone." So Kay put his hand around the handle of the sword and pulled, but the sword did not move. Then all the other knights tried to pull the sword out of the stone. Many a strong man tried to take the sword, but it still did not move. "Arthur," said the Ector, "draw the sword from the stone." Arthur put his hand on the sword and drew the sword from the stone easily. Then he raised the sword above his head, and the metal flashed brightly in the sunshine. Everyone could see that Arthur held the sword. Sir Ector got off his horse. He drew his own sword from its sheath and knelt down on the ground. He lowered his head and held the handle of his sword toward Arthur. "Arthur," said Ector, "you are the true king of the whole land, and I am your servant." Arthur was astonished. "Father, put your sword away," he said. He touched the hilt of Sir Ector's sword. Ector kissed the sword and put it back in its sheath. "Arthur, son, you must know the truth," said Sir Ector. "I am not your father. Merlin the magician brought you to me more than 15 summers ago, when you were only a few days old. Take this child into your home, Merlin told me. The boy's name is Arthur. Take care of him. Arthur and Kay will be brothers." Arthur is crowned king. When they heard these words, everyone knelt down. Arthur was astonished and could not speak. Then the archbishop led Arthur to the cathedral. Archbishop took the sword and laid it on the altar. Then Arthur knelt in front of the altar and prayed. For a day and a night, Arthur prayed in the great church. He asked God to help him. He wanted to be a good and just king. 3 months passed. At the beginning of the spring, Arthur was crowned king in Winchester Cathedral. When the archbishop put the crown on Arthur's head, all the people shouted, "Long live the king!" Thank you. End of part 3. Please do not forget to do your activities of this part. I will have uploaded tomorrow. Do it and send it to me. May God bless you. Bye.